Rainbooms of Royalty by Triniary. Chapter 30. Revelations of Royalty. The shimmering white alicorn strode forth as daylight boomed behind her. She stretched her wings and lifted her head back. Yes, Celestia was back. Every pony in the room stand ramrod until they finally remembered to bow. The silence was broken by Rainbow Dash's enthused cry. Celestia! She bolted over to her mentor, tears of joy glistening in her eyes. Smiling beautifully, Celestia rested her neck on Rainbow Dash's, her wing resting on Dash's back. Rainbow Dash, my loyal student. Her voice radiated kindness and warmth. Rainbow closed her eyes, letting Celestia soothe her, burying her face at Celestia's side. It was a perfect moment. That ended suddenly when Rainbow Dash snapped her head up in realization. What the hey? Rainbow Dash, came the soft, gentle query. Nancy's paces backed away, almost trembling with repressed emotions that ran the gamut from insanely delighted to blood-boiling furious. You heard me! She barked at the sun, Princess of the Sun, indifferent to the looks of shock and horror she was receiving from her friends. What is this? I thought you were dead, and now you show up after everything's over without an explanation. Does a smile and pat on the head? Good job, Rainbow Dash? Nah! She shook her head. This isn't going to fly. I want to know exactly what the hate's going on, right now! Celestia bowed her head to her temperamental student. You're all right. I do have much to answer for, and I promise I will explain everything. She raised her head and looked at something behind Dash. But everything is not over yet. Celestia walked forward, her hostess ringing loud and clear on the stone floor. Rainbow turned just in time to see Celestia stop before the fallen, shaken alicorn, who was once the fierce and terrible Nightmare Moon. Every pony held their breath. Celestia extended her hoof, slowly bringing it towards her face. The shivering, smaller alicorn trembled and looked away, as if expecting a blow to fall on her. Instead, Celestia gently stroked her cheek, before resting her hoof on her shoulder. Princess Luna. Rainbow Dash gave a small start, before staring in shock, as was every pony else present. It's been 1,000 years since I've seen you like this. She knelt down next to her. Dash flapped her wings anxiously. Celestia, don't! Seize! My little sister, finished the princess son softly. Sister! Every pony repeated in shock. Pinkie Pie gasped. That can't be true! That's impossible! She paused. No, wait. When you actually think about it, it's kind of obvious. Shh! His rarity. Rainbow Dash gobsmacked. Sister? Her wings trembled. Nightmare Moon is your sister? Celestia shook her head. No, not Nightmare Moon. Luna. Nightmare Moon was a creature born of darkness, born out of jealousy and bitterness. It eventually overwhelmed and subsumed Luna from the inside out, and turned her into the villain you defeated. The same Rainbow Dash was skeptical, would do as an understatement of the year until the next one came along. Uh-huh, she said noncommittally. Seeing her disbelief, Celestia shook her head. I know this is a lot to take in and accept, but believe me, you have nothing more to fear from Nightmare Moon. She is gone forever. She laid her wing across Luna's back. And now I have my sister back, thanks to you. Thank you. Thank you all. Applejack inclined her head, removing her hat with one hoof. Oh, shucks, your highness. 'Tweren't nothing. Well, I'm glad to be of service. Smiling gently, Celestia turned back to her sister. Luna, you and I were meant to rule together. Can we leave the past behind us and start anew? Will you accept my friendship? There was a terse moment as every pony hung to hear Luna's reply. Dash narrowing her eyes suspiciously. Luna sniffled, her eyes trembling as she buried her face in Celestia's neck. I'm so sorry! I've missed you, big sister. Celestia's eyes were wet as she rested her head atop Luna's. So have I, little sister. As Pinkie Pie bawled happily, Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes and snored. Give me a break, she muttered. A sudden shriek from Rarity drew every pony's attention. Oh my! Look at this! She squealed gaily, standing to stand still as she eagerly showed off a golden necklace that had appeared around her neck. A green gem in the shape of one of the diamonds of her cutie mark. It's so pretty, Fluttershy admired. So is yours, darling, Rarity replied, smiling. True enough, Fluttershy was wearing a necklace of her own, with a yellow butterfly-shaped gem in the middle. The others were wearing necklaces of their own, each featuring a gem. A green diamond for Rarity, a yellow butterfly for Fluttershy, an orange apple for Applejack, a blue balloon for Pinkie Pie, a purple six-pointed star for Twilight, and a red lightning bolt for Rainbow Dash. Twilight looked over them in amazement. So, these are the elements of harmony? I thought Nightmare Moon destroyed them! Celestia shook her head. No, she merely destroyed their casings. While they manifest themselves in physical form, the elements themselves are indestructible. The 6 of you embody the elements that make harmony possible. Laughter, generosity, honesty, kindness, loyalty, and magic. That's it! Twilight blurted out, unable to contain herself. The 6 of us were connected by Rainbow Dash's sonic rainboom. We were somehow connected, drawn to one another. Celestia nodded approvingly. Well reasoned. It was not enough for you to all to become a bearer, if you will, of an element of harmony. You needed to establish ties with one another for the elements to be used to their fullest and best use. It was the power of your friendship, which was and is stronger than the sum of its parts, that managed to purge the darkness from Luna and stop Nightmare Moon. So! Every pony looked to see Rainbow Dash looking at them, her tone flat and face impassive. What now? The answer to what now involved heading back to Ponyville. Rainbow would have asked why Celestia couldn't just match them all back, but she figured that coming back from the dead must have really taken it out of a pony. She looked around. Celestia was sheep-herding Luna along, not wanting to let her sister out of her sight. While Rainbow Dash agreed with the sentiment, her motivation was entirely different to Celestia's. The Royal Pegasi Guard, Steel Wing and Silver Lining, flanked the Royals, despite the fact that they were now defending the princess who, short hours earlier, had turned them into twisted parodies of themselves. They were undoubtedly tired and in dire need of rest and recuperation. Of course, being guards, they would have none of it. They marched along, their faces frozen into impassive guard facades, refusing to betray how tired and hurt they undoubtedly were. Even Celestia knew better than to attempt to order them to stand down. Pinkie Pie was bouncing up and down, singing little nonsense songs in glee as Rarity walked along Fluttershy, unable to keep her eyes off her necklace as she guessed about the possibilities of what outfits to wear. Fluttershy smiling and nodding in all the right places. Applejack was walking with Twilight in shining armor. The two of them snuggled close and glad to be in Cyrus's company. Rainbow Dash does notice Ditsy do as the great Pegasus flew up to her. Hey, Rainbow Dash! She chirped happily, her face all smiles. Hasn't the day been incredible? Nodding vaguely, Rainbow mumbled, Yeah, incredible. Ditsy didn't seem to notice as she happily chatted away. I mean, there was Nightmare Moon and all that bad stuff, but then you guys came along and started glowing and fighting. Piff, pow, buck! And then you performed another sonic rainbow. Ditsy giggled, hugging herself with glee. It was so incredible. And then you stopped Nightmare Moon and Princess Celestia came back. Then it turned out we have another princess now in Rainbow. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, Rainbow Dash grumbled unconvincingly. All of a sudden, Ditsy went from being cheery, evidently scatterbrained, clutched pony every pony knew and loved, to being the responsible mom. Rainbow Miriam Dash. She stretched out Rainbow's full name, assuring she had her unidentified attention. Tell me what's wrong. Rainbow Dash threw her hose off in frustration. Everything! The fact that Hunter spent the entire night killing us, we're walking into town with Nightmare Moon. She rolled her eyes. Oh, excuse me, Princess Luna. Taz crossed her hose. Great excuse. Next time I do something wrong, be sure to remind me to blame my evil alter ego, who just happens to vanish when I get caught. And then there's the fact that she's Celestia's long-lost sister, something she never bothered to mention me when all this was going down. Rainbow Dash was on a roll, snoring like a bull ready to charge. And there's the whole, I'm dying! Oh wait, no, I'm not thing she pulled on me! Or the fact that she shows up after everything's over! What a complete load of horse apples! Ditsy gasped. Rainbow Dash, what's your language? She looked around. Princess Celestia might hear you. Good! I hope she does! Rainbow smacked her host together. She deserves to have somebody tell her just what she put all of us through! I'm so mad. I'm just so mad. I'm happy to have her back, Ditsy offered, resting a hoof on Dash's withers. I bet you're happy, angry, and sad all mixed up. Rainbow Dash lowered her head, her aggressive posture suddenly melting away. She sighed. How could she do this to me? Rainbow mumbled. How could she just leave when I needed her the most? Then it appeared like it's all over, just like she went out to do some errands. Why? Maybe it's because you realized you were strong enough to handle it. Dizzy hugged her. Every bird has to push their baby out of the nest to make it fly sometime. I think seeing you this time it was your time to soar. Rainbow Dash hugged her in return. But it's... You could have been... hurt. Her pause reflected that she changed her wording midway through. Shining Armor could have been hurt, or Dinky, Twilight, Applejack, or any of the others. Somebody could have gotten hurt. It would have been my fault for not being able to stop it. Shh. Dash, it's okay. It's okay. Ditsy rubbing her back. It's over now, and I'm so proud of you. Rainbow's only response was a subdued sniffle. After a moment, a gentle cough from Baloo drew their attention. Ladies, the two pigs I went down. It was Shining Armor. Can I have a minute with Rainbow Dash, please? Rainbow swallowed nervously, giving a weak nod. Yeah, sure. Dizzy gave her a break of the promise of the tall glare and Dash needed it. Nessie flew off, giving the two some place. Dash landed in front of Shining Armor, folding her wings and matching his slow, even gait. The others were still walking up ahead, and no pony seemed to be paying them any particular mind. So, Rainbow started, what's... I'm sorry. Shining Armor said abruptly, regret plastered on his face. I'm so sorry about... Rainbow Dash held up a hoof. Shining, it's cool. I know you weren't yourself when... But this time, Shining Armor was the one to cut her off. It's not that. He got depressed. Well, of course I'm sorry about that, but that isn't what I meant. Shining took a deep breath. Rainbow, I should have talked about this a long time ago. Rainbow sighed. It's okay, she said softly, cheeks still flushing. I know you don't. We really don't need to talk about this. Yes, we do, Dashy. Shining Armor reached out and put a hoof on her shoulder. I am so sorry. I realized that you had, he searched for the right words, feelings for me a while ago, but I didn't know they ran so deep. I'm sorry, that was unfair to you. I should have, I don't know, so set you down and told you that you don't have to say it. Rainbow shivered. I know. Her voice cracked. Shining Armor sighed. Oh, Dash, come here. He didn't have to ask twice. Rainbow buried herself in his neck as he rubbed her back. You know I think you're awesome, right? She nodded weakly. Don't you forget it. It's not just any pony who's Princess Celestia's student. A totally wicked flyer who performed the Sonic Rainboom has saved the world. Most importantly, he lowered his voice, it's not just any pony I would trust with the most important pony in my life. Just you. He looked at her. Thank you for taking such good care of Twilight. She's a big girl. She took care of herself mostly, Rainbow admitted. She's cool. Shining smiled. I'm really happy to hear you say that. That's some high praise from you, Dash. Rainbow gave a weak grin. She must get it from you. That made the white unicorn blush. Oh, come on, Dash. She chuckled at seeing the big, tough unicorn's face go red. It's okay, Shiny Honey, she teased gently. I won't tell any pony I made you blush. Shining Armor rolled his eyes. You're impossible, he nuzzed her. That's me? She beamed proudly. The old unicorn chuckled. Yeah, it is. Smile straightened out. You know, there are a lot of ponies who would be really lucky to have a mare like you, interested in them. But not you. She sighed. I get it. I'm just the foal next to you, huh? He exhaled. Rainbow, I'm sorry. I just don't think of you that way. I know it hurts, but, well, it's a crush. I'm not trying to make light of it, but every pony has gone through what you're going through. They all made it out okay. You will too. Rainbow's face contorted in anger. No, it isn't! It's not the same! You're just so amazing and cool, and where am I supposed to find another pony as awesome as you? Her voice took on a forlorn note. It's not fair. Dash, it's not like we're always going to have the chance to hang out and have fun together. He promised, rubbing her mane. You're one of my best friends ever. What is it that you think you're missing as being that special some ponies would have? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out for a long moment. I don't know. I want something more than just friends. Dassy, we are not just friends, Sunny said firmly. You are one of my best friends in the whole world. We tell each other everything. We play games. You come to me when we need to blow off steam. That's not nothing, Dash. He gave her a caressing smile. Do you know why I kept getting to try to get you and Twilight to meet? Because you wanted us to be friends, and you wanted her to be less of an egghead shut-in, and me to think things through more? Shine nodded. In part. The truth is, you've been a big part of my life, ever since I got into the Guard. This fast and mischievous hotshot filly. He cracked a small smile. It's been like having another little sister. And that's what you are to me, Dash. You're like my other little sister. He rubbed her head a noogie, mostly up her mane as he squeaked a feeble protest. That's why I wanted you and Twilight to meet. I wanted the two most special fillies I knew to meet each other. My two little sisters. Rainbow Dash blushed brilliantly. Oh, Shining. She hugged him. You big sap. I guess. He embraced her again. I'll always be there for you. I promise. After a long minute of hugging, Rainbow stepped back. So, who was the lucky mare? She asked. Shining Armor rode the back of his head. His cheeks flushed. Well, do you remember your old foal-sitter? Rainbow Dash stopped back. You don't mean that sour old mare with the glasses and wrinkly face. Isn't she, like, old enough to be your grandmother? The thought made Shining pull a face. Not her! Your other foal-sitter. Cadence! Cadence? Rainbow blinked, remembering to prank a unicorn princess, who foal-sat her when Celestia was unavailable. Hey, yeah, I remember Cadence! She was awesome! How do you know her? Aside from being a royal guard and being royalty, Shining chuckled. Cadence used to foal-sit for Twilight, too. She loves foals, so she ended up foal-sitting for a lot of folks around Canterlot. You know, I'll never get that when people ask if Cadence is a princess, why is she foal-sitting? I'll never get that complaint. Maybe she foal-sits because she likes to! It's like, why does that princess own a clothing shop? Because she wants to! Why is that princess studying? Because she wants to! I'll never get that question. I'll never get it. She's a freaking princess. She has a hobby. She likes to do it. Duh! I never get that. Rainbow nodded, remembering the pink face she saw at Shiny's home that time she followed him. So, Cadence, huh? She tapped her muzzle, pretending to think it over. Yeah, I guess she's okay. You could have done worse. Gee. Thanks, Dash. Shiny deadpan. Seriously, though, I do appreciate you approving. Dash shrugged. No problem. A strange thought occurred. Have you told Twilight yet? The unicorn suddenly came down with a fit of coughing. And to recover, all he could say was, Well, that answered that. A mischievous twinkle entered her eye. If you'll excuse me for a second, I need to go to talk to Twilight. She started to slip away. Good talk, Shiny. See ya! Now, hold on a second! Rainbow Dash, get back here! Shining ordered. Don't you dare! Rainbow Dash laughed as she flew up ahead, Shining Armor issuing dire threats from the ground beneath her. Finally, a sense of normalcy. Chapter 31. Explanations and Confessions. The group's arrival in Ponyville kick-started an immediate celebration when the populace saw the return of both the Day and their sovereign. They even accepted the presence of the new Princess Luna without question, laughing and celebrating. Rarity and Applejack were soon swamped by their respective families, hugging and nuzzling, grateful to see them home safe. First, they were surrounded by a small crowd of chipmunks, birds, squirrels, and bunnies, including one white bunny who stomped his hoof impatiently, before Fluttershy slid him up in a tight hug. But there was no more heartwarming sight than that of little Dinky Doo wriggling away from Carrot Top and charging for Ditzy. Mama! She squealed as she tackled her mom. Muffin! Ditzy replied, throwing her arms wide and wrapping them around her daughter as the two of them were knocked to the ground, the two of them nuzzling each other lovingly. Rainbow Dash, unable to fully get into the spirit of celebrations for the two princesses, kept her distance and spent her time regaling the story of her and her friend's adventure to the fillies and colts of Ponyville. Dinky sat in Ditzy's lap as a small herd of foals hung on Rainbow's every word of her overly dramatic retelling of the struggle against Nightmare Moon. All of a sudden, a pale filly in front of a fizzy red mane and glasses, The princess! She gasped through her lisp, and the other fillies and colts exclaiming and pointing. Rainbow turned her head to see Princess Celestia standing over her, bowing her head to the children. Hello, my little ponies. She smiled gently. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I need to borrow Rainbow Dash for a while. But I'm sure she'll be back to finish telling you about her amazing story later. Oohs and wows greeted her, as the foals realized that the princess was talking to them. They all nodded and waved, eager to have the princess talk to them. It was only by promising to speak with them later that Celestia managed to extract herself and Rainbow Dash away. Rainbow was content to simply follow Celestia into the Golden Oaks library. Once it was empty as it had been, the Nightmare Moon took over. After closing the door behind them, Celestia gave her student a solemn glance. I believe you and I have much to discuss. Snoring disrespectfully and blowing her mane out of her face, Rainbow half turned away from her teacher and mentor. No, really, you think? What could we possibly have to talk about? I mean, except for, everything? Celestia didn't react, accepting Rainbow Dazz's anger with a nod. You're right. I'm sorry. That made Rainbow whirl around, like something that bit her on the tail. No! Oh no! You don't get to start off by saying you're sorry! I'm so mad at you, and I need to yell at you! You need to defend what you did, so I can yell at you and get it off my chest! That's how this is supposed to go! Rainbow's wings spread up and out, a sign of aggressive behavior to make a Pegasus seem larger and more intimidating. Closing her eyes sadly, Celestia sighed. I see. I understand. I know I put an incredible burden upon you, that you acquitted yourself beyond expectations, and performed better than I could have ever. It doesn't change that. I am so sorry. Rainbow Dash tried to keep her angry face plastered, but the corners of her mouth twitched, and her tears started tearing up. She closed her eyes to remember all the anger or rage she felt, but it was no use. Without even realizing it, she had run to Celestia, her Alicorn's massive wings gently stroking her back as she cried on her shoulder. Why? Why? Dash hiccuped, her throat convulsing as she fought down sobs trying to speak. Oh, Rainbow Dash. Celestia nuzzled her, neither saying anything for a long time. They just held each other, drawing strength and comfort from each other's presence. The only sound was Rainbow's occasional sniffing and some hushed soothing words for Celestia. Once she had calmed down, Rainbow lifted her head up to look at Celestia in the eye. Feeling better? The princess asked gently. At Rainbow's nod, she stepped back, letting Rainbow compose herself. Taking a deep breath, Rainbow Dash started again. Why didn't you ever tell me about all this? Because I felt the more you knew, the more Nightmare Moon would consider you a threat. I didn't want her to take the chance of her harming you. She would do as she did and scan your mind. But more than that, I was afraid. Yes, afraid. She added, seeing the surprise on her student's face. I feared that if I burdened you with the knowledge of what was ahead, that the pressure would grind you down, that you would feel resentful and afraid of what I was preparing you for, and shy away from the upcoming challenge. Rainbow licked her lips gently, trying to hide how hurt she was that Celestia would ever thought she would leave her hanging. It's like a giant photo of no confidence. So, that's how the princess, her mentor, thought about her? Something she was thinking must have reflected on her face, or how she herself, Celestia, gently laid a wing on top of Rainbow's back. I see now that I sorely underestimated you, and I am so sorry for ever thinking it, she whispered softly. Rainbow Dash trembled, shivering slightly. With Nightmare Moon, was he trying to convince me to abandon you? I almost believed her, she whispered in shame. The worst part is that some part of me still thinks that Nightmare Moon was telling the truth. That was just some pony you were using to stop her. Her voice was filled with guilt, but she pressed on. I mean, it made no sense. Why else would you try to teach me all those things? To be a proper mayor, socialize with the Canterlot elite, if you weren't trying to make me some sort of leader, a weapon against Nightmare Moon! Celestia closed her eyes as if in pain, feeling her student's hurt. Never, she breathed firmly. You were never a weapon. I love you. I know she was an evil, lying tyrant, but I still feel that way! Rainbow Dash sounded miserable and guilty. It's okay. Some poet once says that a lie contains a tiny truth of it is the worst lie of them all, Celestia said. I felt that you could be, would be the one to stop Nightmare Moon once he returned and could save my sister. I suspected it ever since your first Sonic Rainboom, and I felt the connection you formed with the others that will allow you to use the elements of harmony. She made sure Rainbow was listening to her. But you were never a weapon to be used. Stopping Nightmare Moon is neither the beginning nor the end of our relationship. You are my beloved student, and that will not change. She smiled gently as she stroked Rainbow's cheek with her wing. And if I wanted you to develop yourself as much as possible, it was not because I wanted to prepare you as a foe for Nightmare Moon. I did not wake up every morning and think, what can I have Rainbow Dash do today to ready her for Nightmare Moon's return? If I pushed you into social situations that you didn't want to be in, then it was because I wanted you to make friends. I knew the ponies you bonded with through your Sonic Rainboom would be drawn to each other in one way or another. But that didn't mean that you could ever have too many friends. I'm sorry if I never took the time to explain myself well enough. I suppose I sometimes forget that not everything I do is as readily apparent to those around me as I think they are. And about Princess Luna? Rainbow Dash corrected herself. Are you 100% sure that she's... She gestured vaguely with her hoof. Celestia nodded. I understand. But you have nothing to fear from Princess Luna. I'm not afraid of her, Rainbow grumbled indignantly. A small smile tugged at the corner of her lips. My apologies. I should have known better. In any event, the elements of harmony purged the Luna of the darkness that turned her to Nightmare Moon. How convenient, Rainbow grumbled under her breath, ruffling her feathers. Your skepticism is understandable, Celestia allowed. Let me explain. Do you recall our argument that night in Canterlot, at Fancy's Pants's party? A guilty flush fills volumes. Did you mean everything you said that night about not being sick of me? Rainbow Dash shook her head frantically. Of course not! I know. The Alicorn gave an easy smile, letting her know it was okay. Do you remember that feeling of anger welling up, taking over? Or the irrepressible urge to say and do things that you never would have otherwise? Celestia asked as Rainbow nodded reluctantly. If you magnify that feeling 100-fold, then you'll have an idea of what happened tonight with Princess Luna. Her jealousy and bitterness festered in her heart and grew. I tried to dismiss it, thinking it was a bad mood or a phase she would simply get over. Instead, it sank deeper and deeper within her like a parasite. It kept building and building until at some point quantity changes to quality, like adding drop after drop into a cup until it finally runs over. Celestia paused to make sure Rainbow Dash was following her. Her anger grew until it was transformed into something else, something semi-separate from her. So, you're saying Nightmare Moon wasn't Luna? But the nightmare came from Luna, didn't she? On one level, you're right. Luna eventually gave in to the darkness. But that isn't the same as being the darkness, Celestia tried to explain. Even at her angriest, Luna would never have done what Nightmare Moon did. Nightmare Moon was born from her anger, but it grew into its own until it consumed Luna from the inside out. It was Nightmare Moon who sought to bring eternal night and tried to hurt you and your friends, not Luna. And with Nightmare Moon destroyed by the elements of harmony, only Luna is left now. So that's it? It's all over and you throw a party for her? Rainbow Dash huffed uncomfortably. Even if she wasn't Nightmare Moon, exactly, doesn't she deserve to be punished? Rainbow Dash, Luna has been in prison for 1,000 years. I think that's punishment enough. She gave her a look. I think you're letting your protectiveness turn to suspiciousness, allowing you to get the better of you. Celestia chided gently. Her patronizing got away under Rainbow Dash's skin. And are you sure you aren't letting your desire to have your sister back get the better of you? Rainbow fired back. Celestia's nostrils flared slightly as he fought down her frustration. She sighed. I know it's hard, but please believe me. Luna isn't a threat, I promise. After all, you made allies to some of the foes you met along your way to Nightmare Moon, did you not? Rainbow wanted to deny that what happened with the Diamond Dogs, Sea Ponies, and Gargoyles was entirely different, but couldn't quite explain how. She trembled briefly with repressed anger, but swallowed it down. All right, she reluctantly yielded to the point. An awkward silence fell, seeking a way to break it. Celestia's horn lit up as she summoned a book from the shelves. Ah, here it is. The Elements of Harmony, a reference guide. Under the E section. How odd, Celestia mused. The what now? Rainbow Dash felt her jaw drop. There was a book about the Elements of Harmony the whole time! But Twilight told her that they looked under the mythology and history sections. Rainbow face huffed. Who the heck put a book under E just because it starts with the letter E? Since when there was ever a thing as an E section? Celestia apparently missed Rainbow Dash's near aneurysm as she idly flipped through it. I'm certainly glad you and your friends were able to make the most of this. I was worried I might have been too subtle in planting the book here. Obviously, this isn't something you would usually find in a small town library. She added an off-of matter. Dash groaned, not wanting to think about how much of their trouble could have easily been solved if the library had a better shelving system. Instead, she shifted the conversation to the other grounds. Nearly, the ponies' impromptu allies. So, what's going to happen with the Diamond Dogs, the Gargoyles, and Sea Ponies? Celestia smiled. Never fear. I won't forget the aid they rendered to you. Even if it wasn't always, Unqualified. Her eyes rolled delicately. I was most impressed with you and your friends. Turning enemies into friends is one of the rarest and most difficult of tasks, and you were able to achieve it in the course of a single night. She dipped her head respectively. The diamond dogs have always been a species apart, by nature and by habit. Hopefully your friend Rarity's kind gesture will help bring down the doors between ponykind and theirs. The fact that it helped you will be given the chance to sell in equestrian land. I think they appreciate gems more, Rainbow commented, sitting down. What about those sea ponies? I mean, they threatened to drown Applejack. Are they even ponies? I mean, aren't you their princess too? This prompted the Swan Princess to frown. Yes and no. They occasionally pay homage and tribute to me, a practice I do not endorse incidentally. They acknowledge me as the princess of all ponies, sea ponies included. But practically speaking, they do what they want. The fact that they live deep in the oceans and in the rivers means I have very little contact with them. She sighed. I am appalled by their threat, but at the same time most of their complaints cannot be dismissed out of huff. Because the sea ponies keep so much to themselves, it's easy to forget they even exist. Waterways have been diverted or dammed or sometimes even polluted, without thought for what it means to ponies who live their entire lives in the water. Death made a face. They made a big deal out of AJ knocking over one old tree. Celestia nodded. I will make arrangements with the royal gardeners to plant trees of their choosing along the river banks, under guard for the creatures of the Everfree Forest, of course. Seeing her confusion, the Alicorn explained. While sea ponies have unusual diets, she added judiciously, even they like to have the occasional fruit or flower that falls into the water. As I said, they are very sensitive to the ideas of being hemmed in by dams and cut off from their fellow sea ponies. As for the gargoyles, Celestia sighed. Rainbow Dash thought back what the gargoyles told her. They used to guard the night ponies because of something Princess Luna! That would take some getting used to. Did for them. Luna had so few admirers of her knights back then. Celestia's gaze unfocused as she stared back into her memories of a time long gone. Ponies feared the night and the dark, for that's when many predators stirred. The howl of timber wolves and roars of ursa majors made ponies associate the night with a time of danger. When ponies came across a species that lived exclusively during the night, they were terrified of them. Her wings spread out grandly, and the gargoyles themselves are driven by their innate nature for their protection. Indeed, it is their primary purpose. Be it territory, their clan, or even others, gargoyles have a need to act as guardians and protectors. When the first ponies encountered them, they were taken aback by their fierce and territorial nature. To further complicate matters, gargoyles love to live in high places, to make it easier for them to glide and remain safe and hidden from potential foes, especially during the day when they are vulnerable. So when construction of Canterlot began in the mountains, things were awkward, Des replied wryly. Quite. Celestia nodded with a slight chuckle. It was Luna who treated with them, impressed them with her mastery over the moon and stars. A pact was forged where clans of gargoyles would protect pony settlements against wild creatures or the odd aggressive griffin in return for being protected in turn when they entered their stone slumber. Luna was so proud when the gargoyles acclaimed her as their princess and lady of the night. Her smile was wistful. Sadly, some of the more short-sighted ponies distrusted Luna for befriending such a peculiar and even frightening race. Some others shunned the gargoyles, and not appreciating how much their protection safeguarded Ponyville as they slept through the night. Rainbow nodded, seeing where this was going. So when Luna became Nightmare Moon, they sided with her against you. Yes, but they were neither evil nor cruel. It is only natural to come to the aid of the pony who befriended them, defended them. When Nightmare Moon was defeated, the gargoyles feared reprisals. They fled from pony towns and settlements. Most went into hiding beyond Equestria's borders. Those that remained sought refuge in the ruins of the old castle. She turned to face Rainbow Dash. I feared that they would seek revenge against Equestria for Nightmare Moon's banishment. Worse, I was afraid that ponies would seek revenge and destroy them when they were stoned and helpless. Neither was acceptable, so I cast a spell for them to remain in their stone sleep, safely hidden in the depths of the Everfree Forest, until the moon was once again full and pure and the taint of Nightmare Moon no longer darkened it. Did I do the right thing? Even now I wonder. Rainbow Dash shrugged her wings awkwardly. Hey, it's over now, right? And I'm sorry you'll allow the gargoyles back into Equestria since Luna isn't looting anymore. Sorry. See, once Celestia gave her a look. Changing tracks, Dash asked another question. If my sonic rainbow was what connected me and my friends together, Why didn't you help me do another one? I mean, I knew you were helping me train and stuff, but... She trailed off. Celestia shook her head. Because there wasn't anything more I could do to help you achieve another Sonic Rainbow. She said simply, it wasn't a matter of me holding something back. It was a matter of holding yourself back. What? But I worked so hard! I wanted to do it so badly! Rainbow protested. How can you say I was holding myself back? You were holding yourself back because you were trying to achieve it for the wrong reasons. You didn't want to do it for yourself. You wanted to do it to have other ponies be impressed of you, to prove you were worthy of being my student, Celestia explained. When you really needed to do it, to save your friends, you were able to push through, and you did so spectacularly. I doubt you'll have any further trouble performing it again. She chuckled. I'm certain Wonderbolts won't be able to keep your hopes off of you now. She winked. Performing a Sonic Rainboom and saving the world tends to look good on the resume. You think so? A smile suddenly crossed Rainbow Dash's face. Awesome! Remind me to have a word with the Wonderbolts and see if they would be willing to give you an audition. Celestia said, I dare say you earned it. Rainbow's story suddenly turned into confusion. Wait, you mean you could do that? Then why didn't you a long time ago? I didn't think it would be fair for me to show undue favoritism towards you, no matter how great a flyer I know you to be. So, what changed? Rainbow pressed tensely, suspicion creeping to her tone. Celestia's brows lowered in confusion with a hint of worry. You performed a Sonic Rainboom again, a most impressive feat, and after all you endured with Nightmare Moon, I thought... Rainbow cut her off. You thought what? She bent her off grumpily. That you could just dangle my dreams out of reach like a sugar cube? Now I'm done good, I can get a treat? Like some kind of puppy that learned a trick? Rainbow Dash, I never meant... I help see the world, and I get a pat on the head, and a... Good girl, Rainbow Dash, here's your dream on a platter. By the way, sorry for keeping you in the dark. No way! She stomped her hoof. If the mission to the Wonderbolts is your idea of an apology or a prize, then no thanks. I'll get there on my own, without you! She barked, huffing out breath. Celestia was shaking her head, wondering how things had gone wrong so fast. It isn't like that, truly. I thought this was what you wanted. What I wanted? Dash yelled. Since when did I want, include getting sent on a mission that almost gets me and my friends killed because you can't stop being so cryptic? She snorted. And now that you got your precious sister back, you don't need me anymore, so you might as well finally get me into the Wonderbolts, which you could have done at any time? Got to get me out of the way, right? Pale pink eyes widened with realization. It was the source of Rainbow's hurt. Rainbow Dash, Luna is not replacing you. No more than you were a replacement for her. Rainbow bristled. Oh yeah? Why should I believe you? It's not like you haven't kept things from me before. Because I care about you. Please, whatever you think of me, don't doubt that, Celestia said gently. Dash took a deep breath. Fine. Answer me this. If you could contact the Wonderbolts any time, why didn't you? Were you saving enough for a special occasion? Was it supposed to be my incentive for stopping Nightmare Moon? She demanded. Celestia wrestled to fight the words as she spoke. I was afraid if I offered you your dreams too early, you would become so wrapped up in them, you would no longer have cause to take heed what I had to teach you. Celestia lowered her head, allowing my fears to dictate my answers. I was afraid that if you achieved everything you wanted, you would no longer have a place for me as your teacher and friend. She added in a hushed whisper. If anything, that only made Dash madder. You thought I would diss you the second I got into the Wonderbolts? She looked appalled. The ponies I met this week knew I was more loyal than that. Hey, that's why I represent the element of loyalty, right? You've known me since I was a filly. How could you ever think that of me? Hurt and fury raged for control. You thought I would just... She sputtered, trying to find her words. You jerk! Scenting her commendation, Celestia closed her eyes. I was not guided by what I knew to be true, but what I feared might occur. Once more, I underestimated you. I'm sorry. You're saying that a lot lately, Dash snarled with a snarl. The thing is, the more you say it, the less I believe it. What about your whole death? Was that just an act? Making Sarah's properly motivated? Never! Celestia swore, her eyes hardening, as she swung her head to the smaller pony. I swear to you, I immersed myself with the sun, fully prepared to give up my existence. I did not expect I would be able to return. I can only guess your Sonic Rainboom, or the power unleashed by the elements of harmony, or both, somehow created a bridge that allowed me to return to Equestria. It was never my intent to deceive you, nor absent myself as a cynical trick. The Pegasus snorted. Fine, I believe you, but why? I mean, Nightmare Moon almost convinced me that if I got rid of her, and you were gone for good, then what would happen to the Sun and Moon, to Equestria? Celestia bit her lip. If Luna returned, I feel Equestria would be fine, she said finally. Rainbow wasn't having any of it. Without you? Was the pony responsible for your disappearance at Charles? Sure, that would have gone over just fine. She rolled her eyes contemptuously. Hey, how do you think Luna herself would have found out if she found you basically off yourself? Celestia flinched. And while we're on the subject, why couldn't you stop Nightmare Moon yourself? Das demanded. Something tells me it wasn't just to avoid collateral damage, was it? There were complications. Celestia sighed, hanging her head. Luna and I once wielded the elements of harmony, but with her change, that was no longer the case. Something happened when I sought to use them against her. I don't know exactly what. Perhaps that's why the elements banished Luna instead of freeing her, as they did when you and your friends used them. With me no longer connected to them, I had no idea they would work at all, or simply banish her, or even... She bit her lip. I couldn't take that chance. I couldn't do it again. She's my sister! She looked up, practically begging Rainbow Dash to understand. I couldn't risk losing her! Not again! Her? A hot flash of something Rainbow would barely deny, seizing even resembling jealousy, ran through her. But you could risk me? Rainbow retorted. You could risk my friends, you could risk shining armor, and your guards who swore to protect you. You could Diggy's mother, you could risk me, but you couldn't even resist your evil, insane sister? You don't understand. How could I charge into battle between my student and my sister and choose a side? Celestia implored Dash to understand. I would either have to risk destroying my own flesh and blood, or to fill I love like a daughter! She whispered. Rainbow took a half step in at her, missing. But you, she sputtered, trying failing to come up with a response. I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash. I'm not perfect, Celestia confessed. I wish I knew I couldn't face my little sister again. Not if it meant sealing her away for another 1,000 years, or worse. I'm not a goddess. I just wanted my sister back. Her voice broke into a near sob. Dash's angry resolve was sinking Celestia's admission of what she meant to her. So you dumped it on me and my friends to fix something you were afraid to? She said, trying to cling to her anger. So Nightmare Moon was telling the truth after all. She narrowed her eyes. Instead of fighting her yourself, you used me and my friends to do it for you. With all your power, you hid away, and used ponies and fashioned them with weapons instead. So Nightmare Moon made the Shadow Bolts. You made me, shaped me, and influenced me until I could be what you wanted me to be, regardless of what I wanted. What's worse, you didn't even have the guts to ask me, because I would have said yes. Rainbow felt her anger peak and started to fade. You know I would have said yes. You had to. I would have done anything for you. Anything. Rainbow Dash. Celestia moved forward quickly and wrapped her up in a tight hug. Her wings wrapped around the small pony as she rested her neck down on Rainbow's own. You were never a weapon to me. Never. She repeated fiercely. I am so very sorry for making you think that was the case. I never wanted to deceive you. The smaller pony shook and broke into teary sobs herself. Celestia held her tight and gently rocked her. Hot tears spilled down the Alicorn's own cheeks as she started to cry as well. They held each other again as they gave voice to their pain, their hurts, and their love. One cannot have great hurt without great love. Only those you truly love are capable of hurting you so deeply, so thoroughly. Celestia knew this better than any pony living. As soon as the two broke apart, having vented the worst of their anger and sorrow, she looked to her pupil. Rainbow, I made mistakes. Oh, so many mistakes. 1,000 years ago, I was terrified of making them again. Instead, I made newer, perhaps more terrible ones. I can only beg your forgiveness and keeping this from you. Were I near your place, I would find forgiveness difficult, if not nigh impossible. But I have underestimated you before, and you've repeatedly shown you are a better mare than I gave you credit for. So I hold out hope someday. Perhaps you'll find it in your heart to forgive me. Her wrinkled voice cracked, running out of things to say. Rainbow Dash took a deep breath. Celestia, ever since I was a filly, you've been there for me. I love you so much. And that's why all this hurts me so much. I can forgive you for a lot of things because I love you. And I know you wanted what was best for me, even if you hurt me. If it was just me, maybe I would have been okay with this. She looked up at her teacher, her mentor, and friend. But it wasn't just me. It was Dizzy Dew's life, Shining Armor's life, the guards, my friends in Ponyville, and all of Equestria. No, I don't think I could let that sigh. Her sigh was weary, one of resignation. I guess I can forgive you someday, because I love you, but not today. For all her signs of grandeur, Celestia seemed to shrink and collapse in on herself. She nodded numbly, accepting her words. Rainbow Dash didn't know what else to say or do. In the end, she settled for giving the princess a soft nuzzle before turning for the door. She opened the door and cast one last look back at Celestia. Princess of the Sun and ruler of Equestria, as he stood alone in the middle of the library, looking hopelessly lost and defeated. Rainbow Dash turned and headed out, leaving Celestia alone with her regrets.